Millions of years ago, a group of warriors known as the Power Rangers arrive on Earth to protect the powerful Zeo crystal. But one of them, the Green Ranger, Rita, betrays the team and tries to take the crystal for herself. During the battle, the Rangers fall one by one until only Zordon, the Red Ranger, remains. Before dying, Zordon buries his armor, which turns into a power coin, along with 4 other coins of different colors: blue, yellow, pink, and black. He hopes that someday new warriors will find them. At that moment, Rita appears and demands to know where the Zeo crystal is. But Zordon tells her it's already too late and orders his robotic assistant, Alpha 5, to launch a meteor toward Earth. The impact destroys Rita's staff and throws her to the bottom of the ocean. However, the attack also kills Zordon and wipes out the dinosaurs that lived on the planet. Even so, the Zeo crystal remains hidden and safe for millions of years. In the present day, in the city of Angel Grove, we meet Jason. Together with a friend, he decides to play a prank on their rival school by putting a bull inside the locker room. But the police show up, and Jason tries to escape using his father's truck. Unfortunately, he crashes on the road. Jason isn't seriously hurt, but he is placed under house arrest and must spend the rest of the year in after-school detention. The next morning, his father drives him to school and reminds him that he was about to earn a football scholarship, but he ruined it because of that prank. In detention, Jason runs into Kimberly, a cheerleader from the school whom he secretly likes. He also meets Billy, a nerdy kid who starts getting bullied by Colt. Jason steps in and orders him to leave Billy alone. When Colt tries to attack him, Jason dodges his punches and slaps him, making it clear that he should never bother Billy again. After detention ends, Billy thanks Jason and suggests they go out for a drive. Jason shows him the electronic ankle monitor he has to wear, but Billy tells him he can reprogram it if Jason takes him to the city's mines. Jason agrees. They go to Billy's house, and the boy hacks the ankle monitor in seconds. After that, they head to the mines. Billy begins preparing an excavation while Jason thinks about leaving to take a drive with the borrowed car. But when he sees Billy working alone, he decides to stay and help. At that moment, he also spots Kimberly nearby jumping into a lake. Jason thinks she's drowning and tries to help her, but she soon comes out of the water completely fine. Meanwhile, Billy places explosives inside the mine to dig more efficiently. But when he activates the detonator, the explosion causes a collapse. Jason and Kimberly run toward the site and find Billy, who barely managed to escape. Shortly after, Trini and Zach arrive, 2 students who were passing by. As they check the area, they discover a large rock with something strange inside it. Zach grabs a pickaxe and breaks the rock open, pulling out 5 glowing coins, each with a different color. Before they can figure out what they are, they hear a police car approaching. Jason tells everyone to get in the car and leave. Billy drives while the patrol car chases them. But when they try to cross a set of train tracks, they don't make it in time, and the train crashes into their car. At the same time, in the middle of the ocean, a fishing boat pulls up its nets and finds something strange among the catch. When they lift the net, they discover the body of a humanoid creature that looks like it has been dead for years. Not knowing what it is, the sailors decide to keep it on the boat and take it to the authorities. The next day, the fishing boat arrives at the port of Angel Grove. When the sailors check the body they found in the net, the creature suddenly comes back to life. It is Rita, who wakes up furious and eliminates the entire crew. Meanwhile, Jason, Billy, and Kimberly wake up in their homes after the train accident, unable to understand how they survived. Not only are they completely unharmed, but they still have the coins they found in the mine, and the coins seem to give them superhuman strength. Billy goes to school and runs into Colt again, who tries to bully him one more time. But when Colt attempts to twist his wrist, he can't even move Billy's hand. Frustrated, he tries to headbutt him, and ends up knocking himself unconscious on the floor. After that incident, Billy suddenly becomes popular. Later, Jason and Kimberly call him so they can talk. The 3 of them compare their coins, red, blue, and pink, and Jason believes the coins are responsible for their new powers. To find answers, they decide to return to the mines. There, they run into Zach and Trini, who also have the black and yellow coins. They've developed incredible abilities as well, so they start testing them by climbing a mountain with unbelievable ease. When they reach the top, Zach jumps from one mountain to another, crossing a massive gap. Jason, Kimberly, and Trini manage to do it too. But when Billy tries the jump, he misses and falls over the edge. Moments later, he shouts up at them from below, telling them to jump because the place is safe. They all land in a hidden lake inside a cave. There, Billy discovers an underwater tunnel that leads them to another section of the cave, where they find something incredible, a spaceship that seems to have been hidden there for thousands of years. The ship is sealed, but when Jason brings his red coin close to it, the coin begins to glow and a door opens. The five of them step inside to investigate, but suddenly Trini is grabbed by a robotic arm. Zack tries to help her, but a small android easily defeats him. The robot introduces itself as Alpha 5 and says he's happy to see the 5 coins reunited after so long. He then asks them to step onto a platform so they can get some answers. When they do, the ship powers up and a digital face appears. Alpha then introduces them to his leader, Zordon. He explains that millions of years ago he was one of the Power Rangers, and that his essence managed to survive inside the ship. Zordon is surprised to see that the coins have chosen 5 teenagers, but he says there's no time to waste. He explains that the powerful Zeo crystal, a source of energy capable of destroying worlds, is hidden somewhere in Angel Grove, and that the Rangers exist to protect it. To show them the danger, he places them inside a vision where they see the city completely destroyed by Rita. After this, Alpha warns them that Rita is about to return, and that only they can stop her. However, they must first learn to control their powers through an ability called morphing. Trini thinks the whole thing is crazy and decides to leave, followed by Zack, Billy, and Kimberly. Jason leaves as well, but before he goes, Zordon stops him and tells him that his coin shows him to lead the team, just like Zordon once did as the Red Ranger. The words leave Jason deep in thought. Outside, he meets up with the others. Even though everyone has doubts, Jason suggests they come back the next day to try again. The next day, Jason arrives at the top of the mountain and is relieved to see that Billy and the others decided to return as well. The group goes back to the ship, where Zordon explains that in order to become true Power Rangers, they must learn to transform by activating the armor inside their power coins. But there's a condition: they can only do it when they are in complete harmony as a team. To try, Zordon asks them to stand on a platform called the morphing grid, where their minds and bodies should connect. The 5 of them take their positions and try to activate their powers. But nothing happens. They can't synchronize, and the platform shuts down, proving they are not ready to work as a team yet. Zordon then orders Alpha 5 to take them to a training arena so they can practice even without the armor. There, the small robot activates a simulator that summons holograms shaped like Rita's soldiers, known as putty patrollers. Zack is the first to enter, thinking they are just harmless illusions. But he soon realizes the holograms can actually hit back, and he is knocked down with a single punch. Alpha explains that they will need to train hard over the next few days if they want any chance of stopping Rita. The training begins, but despite their new powers, the 5 of them struggle to coordinate with each other. Alpha then teaches them a basic technique: dodge the enemy's attack, grab them from behind, and slam them to the ground. Little by little they start to improve, although none of them can transform yet. To motivate them, Alpha takes them to another part of the cave and shows them something incredible: the Zords. These are massive machines inspired by prehistoric animals like the Tyrannosaurus, the Triceratops, the Mastodon, the Pterodactyl, and the saber-toothed tiger. However, he explains that they will only be able to control them once they learn how to transform, since the armor is what connects them to those machines. After that, the training continues. But Zack decides to secretly try out his Zord. As expected, he can't control it, and the giant machine begins moving wildly across the mountain. With great effort, Zack manages to return it to the base, but as it crashes through the cave wall, it almost crushes the rest of the group. No one is hurt, but Jason becomes furious and confronts him. Zack doesn't take the scolding seriously, and the argument quickly escalates until they nearly start fighting. Billy steps in to separate them. And at that exact moment, his armor briefly appears on his body. The others are shocked and ask him how he did it, but Billy doesn't understand it either. The armor disappears almost immediately. Zordon asks him to try transforming again, but no matter how hard he tries, Billy can't do it a second time. Frustrated, Zordon cancels the training for the day and says the group is still not ready to be Rangers. His words leave them discouraged, so they decide to leave. However, Jason returns to the ship to speak with Zordon and ask for another chance. As he walks in, he overhears Zordon telling Alpha 5 that the teenagers must activate the morphing grid because it is his only chance to come back to life. Without it, the Rangers won't be able to save Earth. Jason confronts him and says that he is only using them to restore his body. Zordon tries to justify himself, saying that he needs to stop Rita, but Jason has already made up his mind. He trusts his team and is willing to lead them to face whatever comes next, even without Zordon's help. After speaking with Zordon, Jason leaves the ship and rejoins the group. Zack suggests that they spend the night camping in the mountains to clear their minds. Meanwhile, in the city, Rita hides in a shipyard and begins regaining her strength by feeding on a few humans. Later, she enters a jewelry store and steals all the gold she can find, using some of it to rebuild her staff. A police officer tries to stop her with a shotgun, but Rita withstands the shots without any trouble, destroys the place with her powers, and leaves with the rest of the gold. Back in the mountains, the group gathers around a campfire. Zack believes they still can't transform because they aren't truly connected as a team. After all, they weren't even friends before finding the coins. So he suggests they get to know each other better. Zack explains that he lives with his mother, who is very sick, and he fears the day her condition gets worse. Then Billy says he went to the mountains because it was his father's favorite place, and his father passed away some time ago. When it's Kimberly's turn, she says she's not ready to talk about her story yet. So Jason continues and admits that everyone in town sees him as a huge disappointment after he ruined his future because of a prank. Finally, Trini speaks and explains that she has always struggled to fit in with others, which is why she has changed schools several times. After sharing their stories, the group realizes they all have more in common than they thought. That same night, when Trini returns home, Rita suddenly appears in front of her and attacks. Trini tries to defend herself, but without her armor she has no chance. Instead of killing her, Rita offers her a deal. If she betrays her friends and tells her where the Zeo crystal is, she will spare her life. Meanwhile, Kimberly visits Jason and confesses that she believes the team hasn't been able to transform because of her. She tells him that once she made a terrible mistake by sharing private photos of a classmate with the entire school, and ever since then she has carried a deep sense of guilt. Jason tells her not to let that mistake define who she is and that she can still do something good. At that moment, they receive a message from Trini asking them to meet at the school courtyard. When they arrive, she tells them that Rita attacked her and tried to convince her to betray them. Realizing that the threat is real, Jason suggests they confront Rita even though they still don't have their armor. Everyone agrees, and Trini tells them that Rita is at the old shipyard. The group grabs iron bars and chains they find nearby and heads to the location. When they arrive, they see someone sitting in a chair and prepare to attack, but they soon realize it's just a sailor that Rita left tied up. At that moment, they understand it was all a trap. Rita suddenly appears with her staff and confronts them. The teens try to attack her, but they are no match for her power. She easily defeats them and leaves them trapped in the cargo hold of a ship. She then demands to know where the Zeo crystal is. Jason says he doesn't know, so Rita uses her magic to pressure them, starting with Zack. Billy steps in and tells her to leave him alone. He then reveals that, using the ship's map, he discovered that the crystal is buried beneath a donut shop in the city. With the information she wanted, Rita leaves. But before going, she launches an attack that throws Billy into the ocean. Once they manage to escape the ship's cargo hold, Jason and the others rush to search for Billy in the water. When they check on him, Kimberly realizes that he has no vital signs. Jason blames himself for convincing the group to face Rita before they were ready, but he still decides to take Billy's body to the ship, hoping that Zordon might be able to save him. When they arrive, Zordon tells them it's already too late and that he cannot bring Billy back to life. The news devastates the team, but Kimberly reminds them that they all made the decision together. She even says she would give her own life to bring Billy back, and the others say they feel the same way. At that moment, something unexpected happens. The morphing grid reacts and opens a portal that would allow Zordon to regain his physical body. However, instead of taking the opportunity for himself, Zordon decides to use that energy to revive Billy. Alpha reprograms the system, and seconds later Billy starts breathing again. His friends can't believe it, Billy is alive. Now that they are finally united as a team, Jason gathers everyone and tells them it's time to fight. The 5 of them step onto the morphing grid, and thanks to their connection, the power coins activate their armor. At last, they transform into the Power Rangers. But Rita hasn't been idle either. Using all the gold she stole, she creates Golder, a massive creature, and orders him to find the Zeo crystal in Angel Grove. She also summons her army of putty patrollers to destroy Zordon's ship and eliminate the Rangers. The team manages to escape and appears on top of a mountain, where a battle against the enemy army begins. With their new armor, they fight together as a team, and Jason even summons a sword to cut his way through the enemies. Even so, the creatures are too many, until Zack returns piloting his Zord and wipes out the army with a powerful attack. However, the real threat is heading toward the city. Rita and Golder advance toward Angel Grove, so the Rangers summon their own Zords and prepare to stop them. The battle continues in the middle of the city as they try to protect the civilians. In the chaos, Jason sees that his father has been in an accident after being struck by Golder. He leaves his Zord and runs to rescue him, fighting off several enemies until he manages to pull him out of the car and bring him to safety. Although his father senses something familiar about the mysterious warrior, he can't recognize him. Jason returns to his Zord, and the Rangers try to face Golder together, but the monster is far too powerful. Even so, the Rangers coordinate a risky attack. The pink sword launches the Blue Ranger toward Rita, and Billy releases a massive wave of energy that knocks Golder down and leaves the villain unconscious. For a moment, it seems like they have won. But Golder rises again, heals Rita, and slams the ground with tremendous force, opening a massive crater that reveals the hiding place of the Zeo crystal. The Rangers fire all their weapons at the giant, but not even their combined attack can stop him. Golder begins destroying their Zords and pushing them toward the enormous pit. With their last bit of strength, Jason and the others attempt one final charge. But they end up falling into the crater along with the wreckage of their machines. After the Rangers' apparent defeat, Rita orders Golder to capture the Zeo crystal. But before he can do it, a massive machine rises in front of him. The Rangers' Zords have combined, forming a powerful warrior known as the Megazord. Even then, Rita is not intimidated. She merges with Golder, making the creature far more powerful. The monster attacks, but the Rangers fight back, controlling every part of the Megazord. Thanks to their coordination, they land powerful blows, although the creature keeps resisting. Then the Red Ranger remembers the technique Alpha 5 taught them. The Rangers dodge the enemy's attack, grab the monster from behind, and slam it into the ground. Finally, the Megazord unsheathes the swords from its back and delivers the final strike, defeating Golder. The creature begins to disintegrate, and Rita, too weak to keep fighting, tries to beg for mercy. But the Red Ranger demands that she hand over the green coin and surrender. Rita refuses, so Jason responds by launching her into space with a powerful Megazord attack, leaving the villain frozen and drifting through the universe. With the battle over, the Power Rangers have saved the city once again. The people celebrate the heroes who prevented the destruction of Angel Grove, although their identities remain a mystery. Days later, the teenagers return to their normal lives. Jason goes back to Zordon's ship to leave his sword there, promising to return for it whenever the world is in danger. After that, he goes back to school detention with his friends. During class, Kimberly hands him a drawing of a lightning bolt with the colors of their armor, the new symbol of the Power Rangers. As the teacher calls attendance, he notices that a student named Tommy is not at his desk, leaving behind only a green jacket on the chair. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know what you think about this movie.